Shout out to Otis, my royalty-free music provider. This song is so good. It came up on a mix tape. What do you call them now if they're on your phone? MP3 mix. An MP3 mix that I made myself, and I think it was just accidentally got kind of stuck into it. It was like a bunch of Rihanna, and I can't Watch the Throne was on there. And then this came up, and I honestly thought, you fit right in, dude. Thank you, Otis McDonald, for all of your hard work providing all the music for this podcast. Hello, everybody. My name is Robyn. I'm an artist, and I do this podcast not for money, but for love. For the love of it. I love show and tell. I love talking about things I love. I don't criticize the books I read on here. I'm not here to be a literature critic or a poetry critic. I am far inferior. I don't have that capacity. Although, I'll remind you, I do hate a lot of things. I either start reading something I hate, or I get peer pressured into reading something some of you guys are reading or something, and I read it and I hate it. But what I do about that is I ignore it. And then I tell my friends personally, I hated that so much, I can't even take it. And then I go on and on about it. But for the purposes here, my big intent is to love things. And I don't love that I have the worst allergies, but I do love all of the books I have in this house and the excitement it brings me. Not to sound super goofy, but it brings me excitement and a lot of joy. And talking to you guys always brings me a lot of joy too. All right, new development. I'm going to do a Things I Saw This Week corner. Things I Saw This Week corner. I can't think of a better way to put it. There won't be all sights. There'll just be, all right, things that happened this week in my mind and life. How about that? That's the corner. I was excited because a lot of you called into the Me Reading Stuff information hotline saying that you too love stuffed animals. We had some handmade stuffed animals, some crocheted animals, some sewn animals, and some purchased animals. A lot of people still have their, by the way, there's no Me Reading Stuff hotline. That was a lie. And I'm sorry that I lied to you guys. Yeah, stuffed animals. They're the best. I hope some of you guys ordered jelly cats. I know a lot of you said your kids had jelly cats. Do you hear that? It's a crazy plane overhead. I don't know if you can hear it. There's also another thing, Things I Saw This Week corner. They're the snow geese. There are these snow geese that you may remember me talking about last year around this time. They come from Russia to this part of Washington state, and there are millions of them. At least it looks like billions of them. And they're loud, but in a good way. Kind of like me. What else? Went to Costco with Damien, saw a bunch of people looking very confused and upset by the huge inventory of bamboo toilet paper they had. They had no regular toilet paper in sight, and people seemed to be very concerned about it. All this bamboo toilet paper. Do you think I got the bamboo toilet paper? Yes or no? I'll answer that question next week if you guys remind me. I'm trying to say all of this in a very neutral tone, just to see what you guys think. Damien brought me home Soap Opera Digest. And do you guys think that I went ahead and bought a subscription? Hell yeah, I did. Is it better than Art Forum? Duh. Absolutely 1 million times better than Art Forum. You know, artists, are you with me on this one? In my opinion, we should be looking at pretty much anything else other than art magazines. Maybe when you're younger, maybe it's different, because I certainly did my share when I was younger. Maybe I'm talking to the old ass artists like me. It's just not interesting. Everything else about the world is a billion times more inspiring and interesting than art magazines to me. So anyway, but there was a time when I had an Art Forum membership and Art News membership, that kind of thing. I can't remember what else. Oh, one that I do highly recommend is Raw Vision. That's the one art magazine I'm very passionate about. And hey, I'm not dissing all the art magazines. I'm just saying, for me, looking at other people's art just isn't So, for instance, there is the reason Damien got me the Soap Opera Digest is that I can't remember if I think I've mentioned it. I'm obsessed, and so is he, with Bold and the Beautiful. We started this during the first week of quarantine. Like, let's get into a soap opera. Randomly picked Bold and the Beautiful. Ended up being the greatest show on earth. Like, right now, there's this storyline about this guy, Thomas, who, I don't know, just all of it. He was like a really normal, nice guy from the time we've been watching. And then all of a sudden, he is so obsessed with this other woman on the show that he has this like blow-up doll mannequin type thing that is living in his house with him. And he recently ate potato chips with her at the dinner table. I'm not even making this up. That was just 2 episodes ago. So, I mean, jump on this bandwagon with us, because I'm dying to talk to people about Bold and the Beautiful. And then there's Brooke, who has a baby voice, who I hate. And there's Katie, who I like to pretend she's my friend. I don't know why I like her so much. There's no good reason, but I do. And Katie, actually, I named one of my modeliers, these yarn sculptures I've made. I named one of them after her in her office, called Katie's Office. So anyway, I'm fully invested. Let's see. That's enough of things I saw this week corner. How about recommendation corner, my new favorite part of the podcast? Pickled red ginger. Buy it. Put it in your salad dressings. If you like any sort of like Asian flavors in your salad dressing, like rice wine vinegar, miso, etc., I would say you put that pickled red ginger in there, ups it a million. It's kind of like miso does that better than anything, but pickled red ginger is just another fun element, also very beautiful. I bought a, jar of it, and I've been putting it in every salad I eat, so that's fun. Oh yeah, this one. Whoa. Violife cheese. Vegan cheese. V as in Victor. I as in Ione Sky. O as in O'Neil. Life. L-I-F-E. Just spelled normal. Violife. We started with the cheddar, shredded cheddar. The, fake vegan cheddar. Oh, you guys, it's better than normal cheese, and I'm not making this up. Chow regular slices, they're like white. They kind of feel like white cheddar or American slices. Those are really good, but Violife cheddar, and then they have slices, and they have, I think this is the same brand that has the Parmesan chunk that you could, like, it tastes just as good as Parmesan. But I wouldn't recommend that as much as I do the cheddar, shredded cheddar, cheddar slices, and smoked provolone slices. Taste like a very expensive cheese, is better than if you got a normal smoked provolone slice for your sandwiches. This is all thanks to Damien. He's on a restricted diet right now for health reasons, so there's no dairy going on. And so, oh my God, it's so good. I'm so obsessed with this smoked provolone slices. I only had a little bite of it so far because this is brand new to us, but he has been eating sandwiches with it, and man, love it. So pickled red ginger. Violife smoked provolone cheese. And last but not least, we all know it. Most of you probably already eat it or drink it. Oatly Barista Edition milk. Oat milk. I'm so obsessed. I told you guys I like Gorilla Munch cereal with the Oatly Barista Edition oat milk. But of all the alternative milks, I think I've mentioned this before. I love oat milk a lot. I don't like soy milk, and I don't like almond milk. I used to, but I hate it now. Oat milk is where it's at, although it's very easy to make as well. But who's got time for that? Not me. Let's read. Okay. 3rd week of book recommendation and final week of book recommendation. Although, who am I fooling? This whole thing is a book recommendation. This whole podcast, every single time I record one. But I did want to say top 3. So, In Cold Blood, we did. So Truman Capote, In Cold Blood. What did we do also? Oh, Autobiography of Red, Ann Carson. Next up, we've got my hero, the person I love so much, Mark Strand, and I'm reading, the one I recommend is Collected Poems, Mark Strand, from Knopf, never know how to pronounce that. This book came out in 2014. It's huge. This is one of these books. I'm holding it right now. This book is a book. This is what books should feel like. This is a very thick book. But this is like when I was a kid and I thought of like being an adult and reading. This is a hardback book. This is just such a beautiful object, this one. It's just the perfect size. I vote this in winner of the best size, weight, everything book. When you open the page, even if you're only on the first 15 pages, it falls open perfectly. But you have no risk of it falling apart either. Okay, so Mark Strand, I've talked about him a million times on this podcast, but it's been a little while. So, Canadian poet, just all around good guy, loves tater tots. He loves climbing trees in his free time. And he has a collection of Micro Machines, the toys that came out in the 80s and 90s. All of those things are lies. I didn't prepare his bio because I've read him so many times on here. I figure a lot of you guys are used to him. If not, just Google the guy. Yeah, all those things I made up. And sadly, Mark Strand died a few years back. And that was devastating to me because I thought, oh God, I just wanted him to live forever. And I'm even going to read from a poem I've read on here, I believe, in the past. And I don't care because I'm going to. And it's from his book, Blizzard of One. And it's called Some Last Words. And some of you may, if you guys are into my artwork and if you went to my show in Fort Worth last year, you may have gotten... I noticed a lot of people take a photo of this page in the little book that you can buy from the Fort Worth Moderns gift shop. I'll try to remember to put a link in the description for that. Let me write it down. Link to Modern. Okay. But anyway, in that book, which is set up to look just like my composition notebooks where I take all my notes and all my sketches, I had said something about, did I break your heart in San Antonio? Which it took me a long time to remember what that meant. And then I remembered it has something to do with how much I love San Antonio. I don't know what it was. But anyway, in that same page, there's a Mark Strand excerpt, and it is from this exact poem, because this is probably in my top 3 favorite poems of all time. So I figured on a big day, like I'm about to drop an announcement, and it feels like a big day, and it's, yeah, so anyway, I wanted to read one of my all-time favorite poems. And since I'm pushing this book on you guys, and again, just buy books. It makes you feel good. So this is a book you should buy. Some Last Words, Mark Strand. 1. It is easier for a needle to pass through a camel than for a poor man to enter a woman of means. Just go to the graveyard and ask around. 2. Eventually, you slip outside, letting the door bang shut on your latest thought. What was it anyway? Just go to the graveyard and ask around. 3. Negligence is the perfume I love. Oh, fedora, fedora, if you want any, just go to the graveyard and ask around. 4. The bones of the buffalo, the rabbit and sunset, the wind and its double, the tree, the town. Just go to the graveyard and ask around. 5. If you think good things are on their way and the world will improve, don't hold your breath. Just go to the graveyard and ask around. 6. You over there, why do you ask if this is the valley of limitless blue and if we are its prisoners? Just go to the graveyard and ask around. 7. Life is a dream that is never recalled when the sleeper awakes. If this is beyond you, magnificent one, just go to the graveyard and ask around. And there you have it. Oh, I love it so much. I get very emotional about that poem. Very emotional about it, like embarrassingly so. I've got tears in my eyes, and I'm moving on. Yeah, so there's that. I hope you guys like that as much as I do. Guess what? Quick transition, quick break, quick snap over to the other side. Guess what, y'all? My shop's gonna open right now. So when you're listening to this, it should be out already. So RobynO'Neil.com/shop, or just go to RobynO'Neil.com. You'll see the shop link in the top. I have worked so hard on this. Some of you know what I talk about, what I mean when I say this. I worked, even though this was short-lived working towards, maybe the last 2.5, 3 months. This was to the level of when I worked on my hell drawing. And I'm not kidding. And there have been many, what do you call it when you don't sleep at all? Pulled the all-nighters. I pulled some all-nighters. I've gotten no sleep. I've taken horrible care of myself here recently anyway. And it's because I had so much fun doing it. And I'm so excited about it. And I feel very strongly that I'm doing something, I don't know, something different, I guess. Because it comes from a lot of places. If I were to want to buy one of my drawings, for instance, I can't afford one. So it's kind of weird, right? I don't know how much I've talked about this on here, but being an artist, it's sort of like if you've ever heard musicians talk about their lives, like they don't make any money on albums, a lot of them, like Kanye. Kanye is one of the most powerful, popular, famous dudes, and he was like millions of dollars in debt not long ago. So even though he's worth a lot, it's a very weird. I'm not comparing myself to Kanye, nor would I want to. But, well, I would in some ways, let's face it. You guys know, in the past I had a big obsession with Kanye, and I still do in some ways. But anyway, the point being, although by the way, I'm so mad at him right now, in so many ways. Super mad at him, super disappointed in him. But anyway, what am I trying to say? I want to have handmade items from me available to people no matter what their budget. So that's a huge part of what I'm doing here. And also I wanted to finally have me reading stuff, stickers and fun stuff like that. There's going to be a lot more. Remember, there's a me reading stuff tote bag, hand crocheted, on the site. So go to the bag section if you're interested in that. But long story short, this shop has these modeliers, which are mobiles, meat chandeliers. They have individual ones that are tiny, that are only $35 that you can just hang on the wall for your office. I have a new book out called Men and Their Heads, a book of collages that I've been making since I was about 20. Postcards of those guys. I have all sorts of bags, evening bags, woven bags, crocheted bags, tapestries, and hand-painted ceramics. I'm sure I'm missing some things, but the point being, I felt this frustration with people who like my work that they can't have anything of it. And I'm going to find a way to get more kind of drawing-oriented things, whether it be, small books of drawings or, little quick zines handmade that I make that I can make available for, kind of a mid-range, kind of the prices of things you'll see on my website. It just drives me crazy that I make all of these things that are sort of inaccessible, and I love the art world and I love how special and unique it is in so many ways, but it's a bit of a frustrating world to live in, and it's frustrating for people like me, where, I'm in my 40s, I've been doing this a long time, it is my job, the drawing part, but I feel like there's just a lot more to me, and the podcast was the first realization, like, okay, this is another part of me where I just want to talk about all the things I love, and so the shop is the next element. In other words, this is all me as an artist, but it's also different components and for different audiences, and so very different audience than a lot of those people who collect my work. That's still very much alive, and I'm still making drawings nonstop and having shows. I hope you guys know that, but this is just a different thing for a different group of people. And probably this is the group of people I cherish the most, because it's you guys, podcast listeners, it's other art fans. I mean, I'm a big fan of art and handmade objects, so we've got that element coming in. So I hope that makes sense. That's my best description. I didn't plan this talk out. I was planning on just saying, hey, the shop's open, have fun, talk to you guys next week. But anyway, if you're wondering where the hell this is coming from, that's where it's coming from, and I'm really, 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 really happy about it and excited. And one more, like another little group of discussions here. I learned so much while I was doing this. I took the time and energy. Every description of every object is slightly different and, hopefully funny at times. And, I just wanted to make it approachable and easygoing and fun and not serious. I guess that's the other part. Everything's so dead serious in my other life, like even my drawings are pretty serious. They're slightly funny, but this is another part of me, and it's equal to the other stuff. So Anyway, you'll notice that I really took a lot of care on my shop to make it look fun, and it's all based on the Me Reading Stuff little icon logo that I made on a dumb app many years ago, that red and yellow and black font it's just Helvetica, but it's that certain way that I have the red shadow. I've been obsessed. So thanks to my friend Josh, I learned Illustrator this week, Adobe Illustrator. I mean, I'm an elementary school student in Illustrator, but I actually learned vector graphics and how to scale things and all that stuff, which is not something I ever imagined I would do. And I got a lot of help from photographer extraordinaire, my friend Cindy Long at Cindy Long Studios, who I highly recommend if you're in Texas. I would go directly to Cindy Long Studios. I think it's cindylongstudios.com. I'll put a link in here. And she was my advisor, and I can't thank her enough for that. So, the link for her website will be on here. I want you guys to become big fans of what they do there. I just had a lot of help learning things. I learned Wix. I learned how to design my website on Wix instead of, bugging my designer about it all the time. So I feel very proud of myself. I never, to be honest with you, I have no problem admitting that. I've never, ever saw myself doing any of this. None of it. Not the shop. Excuse me. Not offering my crochet stuff like this. That started last year, but, I never saw myself. Yeah, I just never saw myself wanting to be on I don't want to be on a computer as long as I have. It's been driving me crazy. I'm a mental case right now. But I took the time to learn it, and now I can update my website regularly and that kind of stuff. So that's really fun, and I highly recommend learning things. It was that whole thing with, you give a man a fish, he eats for a day. You teach a man to fish, he eats for life, or whatever it is. The Bible. And also, sometimes we get the best ideas from people we don't even like, by the way. I love that part of life when, I think one of the main reasons I'm doing a lot of this shop stuff is because I saw on Instagram a promoted Instagram post. It's so I saw the first 30 seconds of this whole video that was an online class for artists. And quick jerk reaction was just this is so dumb. Thank you so much for teaching me how to be an artist. I don't think so. But it's weird. So I didn't even dive into whatever this was. I saw the work and I saw the tone, and I was just so over it. I didn't look at any more than 30 seconds of it. But somehow that nagged at me for a long time. So this happened maybe 6 months ago. And then this memory of this promoted how to be an artist and be good at it drove me crazy enough for some reason that, because it was business advice for artists or something. And again, I've been doing this as my full-time job since I was in my early 20s. So it's not like I disrespect that, but something about it drove me nuts. And long story short, somehow this is where this comes from. I don't know. It's just kind of I've talked to you guys about how the one asshole boyfriend I had, it all ended up being okay because I don't know if you remember, but anyway, this jerk actually helped my life out a lot. And it's so in other words, the whole thing about how every aspect of life, pleasure, pain, and everything in between, it's all pretty marvelous when you decide to be in the right headspace about it. And obviously, if you can't be in the right headspace about things that are painful and awful right now, then I get that too. And I'll probably be right back there with you any day now. But for now, I'm very okay with being alive. And I'm very okay with the shitty aspects of life and the glorious ones. And I don't know if any of this is making sense about that 30-second clip of the person trying to teach us how to be an artist and be good at it. But somehow that translated into me improving parts of my art life and art business life, which are realities in my life. It translated in improving the parts that I'm failing at, basically. So here we go. Here's another thing that I'm either going to excel or fail at. We don't know, but it's out there. So thank you guys for listening. It's also Damien Gerardo's birthday today, and I am the luckiest person on earth to be sharing a life with that man. So happy birthday to Damien. I can't wait to get done with this so that I can go make him some gluten-free brownies and gluten and dairy-free turkey stroganoff. That's our dinner plans for the night. I love you guys so much. You, my podcast listeners, the reason I'm making this available, if you guys want, stickers or anything, first, because I have limited supply of everything. Most things on my site I only have one of. Obviously, the stickers and books I have more of, and postcards. But everything else is just, one-of-a-kind handmade objects. But I want you guys to have your first pick because this podcast is the most important thing I do. I've said it a million times, and it is. And the people I've met through this podcast are my favorite people on earth. So I love you guys, all of you, very much. And I mean that. So the ones of you that I know and the ones I don't yet know, thank you for listening. Thanks for being supportive. Please share this podcast and the shop with friends if you don't mind. I would love to help get the word out, and anything you can do to help me, I would appreciate. All right. Have a great day. Happy Thursday. Happy November. Goodbye. Good night. Take care of yourselves. I love you. Bye.